everybody. So today I'm going to be reviewing the new Estee Lauder Wear Nude Water Fresh makeup. So this is Estee Lauder's new Double Wear foundation. Got SPF 30 in it, whereas the original one has SPF 10. I'm just going to read the back. So Double Wear Nude Water Fresh Makeup SPF 30 for all skin types. I'm very oily, so we'll see how it works. Water light, super protective, real skin finish. So I'm assuming it's going to be quite a light coverage, whereas the original Double Wear is a medium to buildable coverage. 12-hour wear, so it's still long wearing. This fluid long wear makeup moves comfortably with your skin, instantly and continuously hydrates with a moisture complex of red fruit extracts, including watermelon, lychee seed and apple. High-level SPF fights environmental damage from UV rays which cause premature aging. Skin looks healthy, even-toned, naturally flawless. Light to medium coverage, there you go, oil-free and dermatologist tested. And then it says shake well. So I'm going to be using the colour 3W1.5, which is also called Fawn. Now this is one of their new colours in the Double Wear range. So it comes like this. It looks similar to the normal Double Wear bottle, but it's slightly taller and thinner. But it's the same amount of product, so it's still 30ml. So I'm going to shake it well. I'm just going to apply mine with a damp beauty blender, which is what I usually use to apply my Double Wear foundation. I think that's sufficiently shooketh. I am super red at the moment. I do have very red skin, which is irritated some days and some days it's not. It just so happens that today it's very irritated, so we'll see what sort of coverage it gives. So I've already got moisturiser, eyelashes and eyebrows on, which is why I look crazy. So I'm just going to go and pop a little bit of primer on and then we'll go with the foundation. I'm going to use my Estee Lauder Illuminating Primer. I usually find that primers and foundations from the same brand work better together, and this is what I usually use under my Double Wear foundation anyway. So I'm just going to use a little pea-sized amount. So this primer is filled with crushed pearl extracts, and that's what gives that illuminated finish. It's also got a high content of vitamin E in it, which will stop your foundation from oxidising, because I find foundation oxidises like crazy on my skin. So I'm just going to use a damp beauty blender, which is what I use for my foundation every day. So it's coming out very liquidy and runny. We'll see how much coverage that amount gives. So I'm just going to dot it around my skin. Obviously I want the most coverage on my cheeks, so I am going to concentrate the product there first. And wow, it's blending out really quickly. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend this all out. Oh, I can usually do that. There's popcorn all over the floor. Oh well, I'm sure my fat Labrador will deal with that later. So far, I'm assuming that I used more product than you usually would, because it has given me a pretty good coverage. I mean, you can still see some of my redness on my cheeks and a few blemishes I've got around my skin, but this definitely isn't a light coverage. I'm really happy with that coverage, so I'm not going to add any more product. I am, however, going to go off camera and do the rest of my makeup, so my concealer, bronzer, powder, all of that, and I'll come back and tell you how it all was applied. Obviously different foundations can give a different base for things like powders. So I've just finished the rest of my makeup. It's gone on really, really smoothly, but my one top tip would be to set the foundation with a powder. I just used a translucent setting powder. As I said, I do have a very oily skin, and I think throughout the day if I didn't set it with a powder I might end up with patches of my bronzer or blusher or highlighter or whatever. So I've just put on some bronzer, a tiny bit of blusher, because obviously I did have a little bit of redness showing through, and then I just put a nice gold highlighter on the top. Yeah, as I said, everything blended really smoothly. I find products blend well on top of the original Double Wear anyway. I wouldn't say it blended any better or any worse. It does look a lot healthier and fresher, more dewy than the Double Wear, and I guess that's the point of it. In terms of coverage, I'd say I did manage to build it up to a medium coverage. As I said, I didn't go in with any more product because I was happy with the coverage. Obviously, I'll see how it lasts throughout the day. Even the longest lasting foundations, 24-hour wear foundations, 48-hour wear foundations, you know, they're not going to stay looking perfect for 48 hours, especially on an oily skin, because when the oil, you know, comes out of the skin, it will almost congeal with the foundation form. And I found around my nose and between my eyebrows, foundations do tend to cake on me a little bit, but I'll see how this one works. Hi guys, so the time is now about 2:30. I applied the foundation, I'd say it was probably about 3 hours ago now. I'm pretty sure it's looking almost exactly the same as when I applied it. My T-zone area does feel a little bit more oily, but obviously when I'd applied it, I just set it with powder just that second, so you know, I wouldn't have had any natural oils on my skin whatsoever. I've actually really enjoyed, for the past couple of hours, I did pop out to a few places, Morrison's, which was really exciting, but I did feel comfortable wearing this coverage foundation, whereas usually when I wear anything other than a full coverage foundation, I don't feel very comfortable because I feel like my redness is showing through. But because it gives such a lovely natural finish, I just felt really comfortable in it. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'll check in with you in another couple of hours and give you the final verdict. Okay, so final check. It is now 6:45, so this has been on since 6 hours and 45 minutes. 6 hours and 45 minutes, so nearly 7 hours. Obviously it did say that the wearing time is 15-hour wear. So after 7 hours on a very oily skin, it is looking really nice still. I'd say the only thing for me that has changed since we last checked in, and really since I applied it this morning, is it has settled very, very slightly into a few pores. Chances are that's probably just because of my super oily skin. With oily skin comes open pores, so what are you gonna do? Again, it feels a little bit dewy, but no more than it did 3 hours ago, which is rare because I tend to get oilier and oilier throughout the day. I don't like to retouch with powder because then it just gets all, you know. Get the colour's still looking really nice. It hasn't oxidised, whereas, you know, before I said foundations do tend to oxidise on me, but I did have the primer underneath. I did try and touch it up with the same beauty blender around my mouth, and obviously because I did have powder underneath, it's not sitting as nicely as it does on its own or under powder, but then you wouldn't put a foundation over a powder anyway. That was just me trying to touch up around my lips. So I am going to remove the foundation now because I'm about to go to the gym, and I'm not about that makeup gym look. You gotta let those oils come out naturally, girlfriend. So after almost 7 hours of wear, it's literally shown almost no signs of wear apart from settling slightly into my kind of nooks and crannies around my nose, crevices if you will. It hasn't settled into my lines on my forehead, which is a big thing for me recently, especially because I find long wear foundations especially will really, really sink into my lines and really emphasize them. As far as my redness goes, I don't think it's necessarily showing through any more than it was, maybe very slightly, but as I said, I do have a blush over the top. Girl, look at that highlight on fleek. So I think it's safe to say that the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude Water Fresh foundation is officially approved by me. 10 out of 10, love it.